Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. Today I'm talking about watch this if you think your ex is never coming back. Okay, so if you believe that your ex is never coming back, then here are some tips that may help you, especially if you're kind of despairing about it and you're feeling really low about it and you really are hoping that your ex is going to come back. Okay, so if you're in that kind of frame of mind, then this video definitely is for you. So the first thing that I want to get into is to trust the no contact rule. The no contact rule will let you know eventually how this person feels about you. Will let you know how your ex feels about you. Because either two things are going to happen when you disappear and you go into no contact, right? The first thing is that they're going to start missing you, right? And they're going to fear losing you now that you're no longer speaking to them. And it causes them to reach out to you, right? And if they still love you, if they still care about you, they will reach out eventually, okay? So the other thing that could happen as well is that if your ex doesn't show any, it doesn't have any feelings for you anymore, doesn't have any love for you anymore, is happy that the breakup happened, then you will just never hear from them, okay? So those are the two things. Either if they're still interested, they'll contact you eventually, and if they're not, you'll never hear from them again. The no contact rule truly reveals how someone feels about you, okay? So trust the no contact rule. And if you believe, and you think that maybe there is a chance with your ex, then they will contact you eventually, you see. Okay, they will. They just will. So if you're really interested in getting your ex back and you would love to know how to actually do that, then I have a very concise audio that you can watch on my YouTube channel. You'll be able to find it on the channel trailer, or I'll leave a link for it here on how to get your ex back. Because if you're really hell-bent on trying to reattract them and get them back into your life, that is the best resource that will help you do that, okay? So the next thing that I want to discuss is, now that you know that the no contact rule is going to reveal to you how this person feels about you. Now, of course, as well, what you need to keep in mind too is that it may not happen. It could happen in a week. It could happen in a couple of weeks. It could happen in a month, right? But ultimately, the no contact rule will show you how they feel about you. But it may take some time, okay? But with that being said, though, it's important to stop focusing on them for a while, okay? To not focus so much on your ex, which I know can be really difficult because obviously you spend a lot of time with your ex. Perhaps the breakup didn't happen that long ago. So if that's the case, then yeah, your emotions are really raw right now. So, but the thing is with that though, is that thinking up hypothetical situations like, oh, I wonder if they'll come back in a few days, or you're crossing off the calendar of doing the no contact rule, right, and hoping that at some point they're going to reach out to you. Doing those kinds of things are not going to help you, right? It's not going to help you to think of these hypothetical situations of, are they going to come back? Are they not? What's going on in their head, right? Because trying to be a mind reader is never really going to help the situation, because none of us are mind readers. You can't really tell if your ex is going to come back into your life. Okay, so you need to give up, these hypothetical situations, okay, and stop focusing on them for a while and guessing what they're going to do, what their next move is, because it's not going to be beneficial, okay? So instead then you need to focus more on yourself and what you're doing, because that's the only thing that's in your control, right? You can't control what they're doing. You can't control how they're feeling about you right now, but you can control your own actions and how you feel. Okay, those are the things that are in your control. Okay, and those are the things that you need to focus on. Don't focus on those things that are not in your control, like these hypothetical situations of what is going to happen if your ex comes back or doesn't come back, right? Because those kinds of things will just keep you stuck, will drive you crazy, right? And it's best for your sanity to just focus on the things that you can personally do in your own life, okay? So another thing that's going to really help as well is if you unstuck yourself, right? Because sometimes we can stay stuck and hung up on an ex for years simply because we have some bad habits. Now, these bad habits might be going over old messages that they sent you, overanalyzing old messages and things like that. Looking back through old photos, listening to songs that remind you of them and makes you feel sad, just dwelling on them in general too much. These things will keep you at square one and will prevent you from moving on, because what you've got to realize is that either your ex is going to come back or they're not, right? And again, that's a kind of like a hypothetical situation. You don't really know which one is going to happen, right? I mean, you may have a clue, you may be, sure to some degree of what may happen, but ultimately you don't know 100% for sure if they're coming back. So you need to stop doing those things that are keeping you stuck, because you might be actually needing to move on. You might actually be needing to move on from them, right? And if you're needing to move on from them because they're definitely not coming back, then dwelling on them, looking through old messages that they sent you, looking at their photos, listening to songs, keeping you sad, is not going to help. It's going to keep you stuck, and it's going to prevent you from moving on. It's keeping you on square one, because it's basically digging up old wounds, right? And and that's not going to help you heal, right? Because basically, someone who, if you do those things, you're basically at the same position of someone who has just literally broken up with their ex, who didn't want it to happen, right? And it could be years down the future and you're still in the same place as someone else who has only just lost their ex, right? So you don't want to do that. It's really important that you take time to move on and to heal and to get over it, because if your ex does come back, you want to be the best version of yourself so that you can keep them, right? Because if you really want them back, what's important to know is that you have to be kind of like a different person, because you can't be the same person that lost them, right? And that should make sense to you. Like it's like if you think of like a problem, right? And usually the problem goes like, okay, well, a mind can't solve a problem if that same mind created the problem. So therefore you need to change your way of thinking and your attitude and things like that. And it's the same with your ex. You can't keep your ex if you're still the same person, because if you're still the same person, then the breakup is still going to happen. It's going to happen again, and it may happen again and again and again, right? If they love you and care about you and still keep on coming back into your life, okay? So you need to improve then, start to try to improve every facet of your life. So it could be your health and fitness, it could be your finances, it could be the goals that you have, it could be your career, things like that. It could be just trying, or it could be like your level of happiness and joy in life, right? And that's really important to think about too, okay? Is that it's important that you try to improve everything about your life, right? So you can become a better version of you, and therefore you'll be able to be a better version for your ex, if your ex comes back. Now, what I will say though is that it's only a good idea really to try to get back with an ex, or to try and reattract an ex, if you genuinely feel like you lost someone good, okay? Now, what you need to do then is you need to do a bit of reflection on the relationship and think, okay, what was their attitude towards me? Don't just think about the beginning of the relationship, because many people do. They think back on nostalgia of the beginning of the relationship when things were great, right? And they rarely think about how bad things were at the end. But you've got to put more emphasis on how things ended and how things were and how you were feeling, okay? And if you were also feeling, let's say, for example, before the breakup happened, that, oh yeah, I kind of wish, I could go back to my old life. I kind of wish I was still single. I kind of wish that I wasn't in that relationship anymore, right? And then the breakup happened, right? You got to remember that, why was I feeling also that I wanted to end things? Because if you was feeling like you wanted the breakup to happen, or you were kind of nostalgic for your single life, then that's a big red flag that you need to consider. If you was feeling like you didn't want them anymore, or you wish you could go back to your old life, then you need to pay attention to that. There's a reason for that, because basically when you get into a relationship, that person should be there to improve your life. That person should, and your lives should improve together, as a couple. I'm not saying that they're in control of improving your life, but when you get together, life should be enhanced, not diminished, and you shouldn't be feeling nostalgic for times when you were single, okay? You should be happier where you are now in that relationship. So if you were dwelling on the past a lot, then maybe it was a good thing that the breakup happened, even though it hurt, right? And maybe the reason why you are regretting the breakup and wishing that it never happened is because perhaps it's what Tony Robbins says, where rejection breeds obsession, and you're only now obsessed with your ex and really want them back because they rejected you, because you lost them, and maybe that hurt your ego or something along those lines. But it's important that you improve every facet of your life to try and get better if you do want your ex back, right? And let's say the breakup happened because of a big misunderstanding, because sometimes that can happen. Sometimes third parties can get involved in things like that. right? And sometimes other things and other factors can destroy a relationship over misunderstandings. But if things have been bad for a while, then it's probably better that you guys stay broken up. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you'd like coaching with me, then please go to www.ChristineLoveridge.com, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.